Well, welcome, everybody. This should be a pretty short stream, honestly. I don't have a lot of time today, but I thought we'd finish Chapter 3. That we left off so rudely 2 Fridays ago. Without it being finished. I think we'll start Case 4 this coming Friday as well, but can't start Case 4 unless you finish Case 3. We won't start Case 4 today. This was a super unannounced stream, so... Anyways. Welcome. My name's Twice, and this is Great Ace Attorney. We have spent this entire case trying to prove that our defendant was not alone in this carriage. In which a murder was committed. And it took like three trial sections to do it, but we found someone else in the carriage, but also a smoke bomb went off as soon as we discovered them, whoever they are. So, yeah, pretty suspicious. And not auspicious. An advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. Sort of thing that ninjas use. I'm just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? Well, it could have been the mysterious person that we called out in the trial right before it happened. Why were they trying to flee the courtroom? It's a young girl of around 15. Not the same girl, is it? From case one, no, she was older than 15. The other passenger that Mr. McGonagall was just talking about. It's become of Mr. McGilded, actually. There's so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. Well, as you don't know, McGilded is our defendant that we are forced to win for. Win, not lose. I think the official thing was not lose. Thanks for the follow-up. Along with the young girl, who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? Taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? Another matter that's troubling me. 20 pence. Yeah, it was a unintended passenger, which means they were hiding below the seats. Alright, back to the trial. It's really suspicious. I can't imagine a 15-year-old girl doing a murder, as the youth say. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. Now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior. If I may, my lord, I think perhaps I ought to explain here why it is that the sweet lass here was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. It is all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilden. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. So what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. No. And we've never had it. Not once in the series. And if we've been given it, it's been wrong. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me, and I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. Okay, that makes sense. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct? It's exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the 5th passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. I have no idea where to start. That's true. I guess we'll start pressing. This is new to us as well.
Hold it!
You press on everything, because sometimes the most innocuous statements like branch off to the most random pieces of conversation that can make them slip up. Or at least give you progress. Got on the omnibus, there were no passengers on board, the cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. Like collapsing to the floor? How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground, that sort of noise. It was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed. Well now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. That's how you got blood on the gloves. I'm still not convinced by this guy. He just seems like a shyster, man. Von Zieks doesn't seem like the type to make up all those stories about McGilded as a loan collector, but you know, maybe I'm wrong. I find that a little hard to believe. Zeeks. Now, why would that be? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in the carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and somewhat even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are Are you suggesting you were just gonna leave the man there? Heavens alive, no. I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had in mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. There's some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. A wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yep. Which is the girl. The girl's under the seat. Let's move it along. Maybe I just skipped that one. And I press on that one. That sounds good. Is that her next to the dead gentleman? Oh my god, why? I'm sure I mentioned the gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger, so I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. Fella's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and a gentleman with a knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not in fact see you at all, Mr. McGilder. They believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason? Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat in the back of the carriage out of sight. Certainly plausible. Defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. How he must be feeling, being the defendant's lawyer and yet finding myself as stunned as everyone else at his testimony. Let's just say it's trying. We certainly had precious little time to talk to Mr. McGilder before the trial. Mustn't be dispirited. We must try to learn all the facts we can. Wait, I really did have to press on the fourth one? Oh, that's cruel.
Hold it!
That was the one that seems the least like... Oh, I get it. I'm afraid I just don't understand. I'm sure you told the court there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. When I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. We have examined the omnibus ourselves. I mean, there shouldn't be anything else that we missed. We saw... Okay, that blood wasn't there before. Why did I take a break? I wouldn't be certain. No, that wasn't there before. Everything else was cleared out of this. Okay, so someone tampered with the crime scene during the smoke grenade. That's not great. That's bad. Yeah. Can I unlatch this, please? No, you're not letting me unlatch it. Okay, cool. That's fine. Oh, I don't really want to use the evidence that's quite obviously laid out to do what? I'm not sure. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade. This is how they're bringing in the Lestrades. Instead of an inspector, she's just a really belligerent teenager. Alright. She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds for leaving people with their purses. It's commonly called a pickpocket. This girl here, a petty thief. Or dar. Is this true, Miss Lestrade? You will answer the question, Miss Lestrade. What's the meaning of this? The girl, she's gone. Open your eyes, she's over here. Good gracious, how? What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say. Slipped up and got caught on the job. Got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, isn't it? No, this is court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast... Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. We're professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. And guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Don't make that thing in my direction again. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question? It's alright, Lass. You can tell him the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. Oh, I thought we were going to accept her into the evidence room. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. So I snuck inside the carriage before they looked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I hear this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, I did. The scream just came out. It's because of that the swell found me. It did help me get away, mind. He lets you go. I fail to understand why you would let the street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? Well, as I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. Calm, calculated reasoning when arrives clearly at the truth every time. Okay. So are we just done? But we haven't explained at all how this would work.
Objection!
Okay. The sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends. Pray, do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilden's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. I think I'm defending a murderer. I didn't think we were gonna ever have to do that again in an Ace Attorney game. I won't tell you which one. I'll leave that as a secret for you. Such a devious contrivance possibly be affected, Consul. Naturally, must acknowledge the deficiency of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning. The compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, mind if you use French? Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. How this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks. Consul, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment of the seat in the omnibus? Yeah, it wasn't empty, though. We're all about justice here. No matter what. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense, but as far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes? Are you sure, Counsel? Be whist. What are you saying now, you daft dog? I thought you were on my side here. I think we're defending a murderer. I mean, I got the feeling a long time ago, but because he's not that likable. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? I don't know. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand, but it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly as honestly as possible. Interesting. Just not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now then. Fellow's memory is a curious thing and not altogether reliable. No, court must consider the facts. That their cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. I think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken. I feel like something's not right here. Because that's not the only thing wrong with the carriage all of a sudden. I'd like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. The compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. The money-lending fleecer and the pick purse are lying. Oh god, not again. Can't believe I was nearly taken in. Stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards. And a lot of them. Okay. We're losing them real fast. Boy, being fickle's a good time, ain't it? So now we're, what, tied 3-3 again? Before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Oh boy. Counsel of Defense, please begin your questioning for the witness. The balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Except I agree with the Reaper of the Bailey. Something's absolutely flawed here. Stuck inside the carriage before they looked up the horses, just like always, but it was a right old waste of time. Got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. And after a while, I heard a slap bang, nearly jumped out of my skin. The scream just came out. Because of that, the swell found me. It did help me get away. And, yeah, tell me about that. Scared stiff I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke got a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Well, the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. With me, hands got covered in blood. Made me feel sick as a dog. After that, I believe you talked to Mr. McGilded for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name and what I was up to and that. I heard something from above. Someone screamed. Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." Conclusive piece of evidence. I mean, let's keep pressing for now. It's not going to change anything. What's the point of spending a Joey to make a few bob? That's a rum idea, isn't it? Thanks for the English translation there, Renowski. Always goes for some grub before his last run, it seems. That's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Our hiding place is a storage compartment full of equipment for the coach, you know? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I struck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. Well, it never seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you.
Hold it!
Thanks for out, Neo. Got a permit, at least some of the time. Oh yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. That's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night. This cove was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin. Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure, to be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit, then. Oops. Nope, 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 nope.
Hold it!
Surprised he wouldn't fall asleep then. I spent the whole journey right over in the head.
Well, no. Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps? You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. 'Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass, is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad, shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was. See, yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. Me too. I still run up the stairs. I don't know about yourself, but I find that darkness seems to make everything here that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Just let me tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. I find it profoundly important. going on, but all I could hear was snoring. Okay, I mean... I don't know if it's just another press situation or what. There's no one in the cabin to start with. I just pushed the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what's what. But then when I saw this swell getting on, I got my head down so he didn't notice me. Just listen. Wait and jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. That doesn't add up whatsoever, and it seems like a rehearsed statement. I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilden snoring, but think there should be someone else there. Ah, forget it. Nah, all good.
Take that!
Why would that be? A sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Merely that you were the first person on board the omnibus. I mean, if she couldn't fit in that, did he just get this girl to act for him? No one saw her at all. The smoke grenade conveniently was there. I mean, it's quite a tall tale he spun, but it doesn't make sense. I think they're gonna try to say that he was dropped in through the roof. Which would be incredible if true, but that blood wasn't there before. I know it wasn't. Oh man, hey, it's so sleepy. I'm so sorry. You know all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It seemed words of thanks are in order from my learned friend. Learned friend. You've demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths. Nothing more. Who was a victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever. Oh my gosh. Oh, Granny's back on the murder spree. Understood. She didn't even say anything. Well, I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, can't abide liars. And neither can I. I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways, but I must say I cannot abide liars. Oh boy. The considerable troubles you have spared me. He gets angry when he's never been shook this entire case at all. That sounds... Who animated this? Number 2 is the only one left. This is going. I know. If we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilded's innocence, Judge will rule and we'll have lost.
Hold it!
Fallen into the fake evidence, man. Sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty theft's words are to be received, can explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus. I mean, if we're following the fake trail of evidence laid out by us, the door wasn't open even once, and the explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door, and the other has only windows. Fixed windows, which cannot possibly open. In short, there's no entrance to the cabin other than the door. Okay, let's That's just not true. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes. One other way inside that isn't the door. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location. Yep, okay. I'm pointing at the skylight.
Take that!
Because the blood on the floor would imply that, wouldn't it? If that was real blood. I don't... Oh, this is rough. I don't want to do this at all. But we have to win.
Objection!
Oh, jeez.
Objection! Objection!
McGill and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. Each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. It's already been explained as the sound of the victim falling from a seat, having been assaulted with a dagger. It has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment the victim made his entrance into the cabin. Let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it. He'd have other injuries too, wouldn't he? Suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? If the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Ah, yes, the glaring contradiction in my own logic. Might a humble fellow make a weak comment here? To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. Seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but being unable to say. I think perhaps the two fellows do be having something of a compelling reason to not mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? Rotter, he said. You rotter, what are you insinuating? This is a flaming outrage. I've got a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. I'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker, and me, a very angry hatter. Mad, even. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms. I protest too about you, you rotten scoundrel. Proposed to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. The hypothesis cannot possibly stand on the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated their criminal guilt. In British court's law, that is what's termed a baseless accusation. What was Rashford's idea for without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. There was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. See this matter through now, one way or another. We'll take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. We were the only two people up on that roof, dead or alive. I can swear to that. If anything had happened while we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill them. Okay, well, that's not true. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. Couldn't have possibly opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? I must say that on listening to this testimony, it was somewhat hard to imagine how either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see. You're innocent, I tell you. Well, logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another. According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings. I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Yeah, something doesn't feel right here. It hasn't for this whole chapter. It's going in our favor, at least. Why do I feel so uneasy? Because you're using fake evidence that you don't really realize. It's not really your fault, but... And you've got the threat of being sent back to Japan if you don't get this trial. Declared without your client being guilty. Neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The victim, I guess. That's... Can I open it now yet? Am I allowed to yet? Okay, nobody knows.
Hold it!
Can I fail a case and get sent to Japan? Essentially, yes. Hey, Gabe. What's up? I mean, in the first one, if you failed, you got sent to jail. In the second one, if you failed, you get sent back to Japan and then also to jail. In this one, you just get sent back to Japan. So we're moving on up in the world. Gabe, are you here because you wanted me to play Destiny? Okay. Sure am. We're almost done with the case. This was just going to be a really short stream. I had to cut it short on Friday, or I would have finished it on Friday. Last Friday. Not this Friday. Oof. Evidence. Yeah, I mean, we've got evidence. It's just, it's forged. It's forged evidence. I don't want to. Why would you make me do this?
Hold it!
Oh god, I didn't want to do that. let's skip through this.
Well, no. Excuse me.
Okay. I mean, you both loaned money for, or you got loaned money from the same person, so you are connected. But again, this is the most far-fetched nonsense, and we can't change it because we get sent back to Japan and lose the case. But I'm pretty sure this guy's a murderer at this point. I'm like 95% certain at this point, which is pretty high for an Ace Attorney game. All the evidence that is for him seems to have mysteriously appeared, and the evidence against him has been there the whole time. Not very much mistaken, I believe. It's fast approaching, isn't it? Your repayment thing. I beg your pardon. You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. And then you get a super mega twist and you're wrong. It's happened. I mean, this guy's basically a moneylender. He's kind of a turd. Everything about him just like screams to me. And like he's been guiding the case, been leading it by like the hand. You're making hats for a living, do you know? The top hat is sliding about on your head. Not one of your own creations, is it? Oh, I'm still just a apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. Perfect fit, is it? Well, it is a very distinctive design, so it is. There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence before, my lord. Same style of hat. I guess. That's a really weak connection. There's really nothing more to it. Wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. Just doesn't feel wrong. Everything feels wrong here because of... Ugh. I don't like it. He's better at this than I am. Another poor showing, quite honestly. Yeah, he certainly has done his research. Please, don't let me... Little interruption. Hold up the proceedings.
Hold it!
No, I didn't. Oh, fuck. Yeah. I keep on pressing L instead of R because I can't tell the difference between L and R. I should just do that. Like, still. Yep, evidence. We have evidence, it's bad, I don't want to present it, but you're gonna make me present it because that's how visual novels work.
Objection!
Wait, do I have to re-examine this? Oh, that's annoying. Alright, let's re-examine this. First, we look at here, I suppose. Okay, again, not letting me go through there. Yeah, the bloodstain on the floor is new, and you can tell it's new because it's a different heckin' color. Once in the abdomen, yeah, there's nothing there. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. That's not nothing here is helpful. Honestly, let's just press through everything.
Hold it!
This is going really well.
Hold it!
Let's just press through everything, even though they say they want evidence. Because my evidence is that there's new blood on the floor, but we have to get to that point. That's extreme. Feels like we reached an impasse here, just in general.
Hold it!
Yeah.
Hold it!
I mean, you definitely could have opened it. The latch is on the outside. But... well, the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it, still and all. Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand. Let's stop biting Arcane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind. Loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happened. This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rouge, did I? Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but the outside.
Excuse me.
The outside of it, you see. It opens. The skylight. That's what we're talking about, right? That'll open. Dead easy. Can't do it from inside. Only from conveniently outside. Look. A few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck one of them drags, and I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out of me ears. How the guy just starts shaking his butt when he gets worked up. Don't you do that? That's what my dog does, at least. There's the skylight. Open the catch, jumped right through. Catch them skylights on the top side, and so I can't open them from the cabin. The other one is going to actually, like, devour his cane at some point. Okay, now we're finally allowed to open the skylight. Thank you, game. I've spent ages trying to do that. Appreciate it. Can't say I do it often. Often. Which does imply that you have indeed shake your butt in anger. Shooketh. Okay. So we finally got one. And that's our evidence that the skylight opens, but we need to look through the skylight first. Zzz. Open sashimi, please. Catch has been undone, we should be able to open it. Yep. That's the same color as the fake blood, man. Oh, God. This feels real wrong. Or can I not? Okay, I have to go inside to check the outside. Is that what you're having me do here? Never change, Ace Attorney. About here. No, we're pretending we don't see the very obvious blood. Okay, let's go inside, which is apparently how they want me to see this. Now we look up, and now we look at the blood. It does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruto. Why me? Look at this. It's blood! Alright, blood stain visible on the frame of the skylight when it is open. Okay, we've changed the description, which now allows us to present this as evidence. Oh, it's fake evidence! Oh god, I'm getting Apollo Justice vibes all over again. They're clever because they didn't let you, they let you explore the cabin, but they didn't let you unlatch the skylight. before now, so you can't be for certain that that was faked. Though the blood on the floor was faked, and it's the same color. And I'm 90% certain Gina Lestrade is not a person that was in the omnibus at all, and was just paid by Mr. McDonald Skull. Can't possibly have any evidence. You can't. I mean, you didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof. Here, in this courtroom. Everyone would appreciate a little clarification here. Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? There we are. The definite not... Oh, I needed to press X. Alas. And alack. Yep. I mean, we're closing in on the end of the case one way or another here. What's that blood? This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight. Sure, and that would be very convenient. And let's keep it in mind the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? There's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? I painted it real well while the entire court was being evacuated from a smoke grenade.
Hold it!
Poor typewriter. Murderous Granny back to regular Granny.
Objection!
Chilling performance, Mr. Gilded. Oh, what would you be referring to there now, Lord Manseeks? A blood stain on the frame of the skylight? Such evidence is null and void. For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection! Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began. What a palaver. I must say I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor. You're standing, Lord Manseeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. Don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt to the facts. When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGillicud's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Tut, Lord Menzies, this will not do, to be sure. Well now, counsel. Oh, no. I think it's fair to say this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. Blood on the skylight didn't exist yet, you see. But if you will cast your minds back, is it not true that Omnibus here has been in the courtroom the entire time? How would anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? There was a giant smoke grenade that went off. Hasn't been in full view. Yeah, could have been possible. Oh boy, we're pissing off a powerful person. Ooh. As a result of the smoke grenade. Yep, smoke. We're treading a very fine line here between being targeted by a very powerful man and losing everything. I don't like it. I don't like it very much. In that brief interval under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal the inside of the omnibus. I feel like we're pointing at the wrong person here. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten, feckless gouger? Feckless gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. This is a wicked plot. 'Tis a plot to undermine me, so it is. What do you think this is? It changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat was cleared out. Yep. To make it seem like someone could have gone there. Probably couldn't have. The blood on the skylight was not present. No one was able to corroborate our claims. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord, no doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. I mean, I can't verify the skylight either. Yeah, there's other stuff about the omnibus. The blood on the floor.
Objection!
Love being threatened. That's good. I have a good idea of what's truth and what's deception. One person is threatening me with death and watching my back, and one isn't. Let's just zoop on down here. Thank you. I clicked on it again instead of pressing X because I'm a doofus. Doofus confirmed.
Got it!
Okay. Some fell through the skylight on the floor of the cabin. You'd certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. This blood stain on the cabin floor was not there. Hold on, this was first brought into the courtroom. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. If I was advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. This trial is over. I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but 'tis all over now. But you're the defendant. 'Tis over, I tell ye. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw. 'Tis all a nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there now. And over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, the good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Von Zeeks. Well, my lord, must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence, and in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say it would be improper for this trial to continue. So we're getting a mistrial? Formality, I am of course obliged to confirm on the defense first. There's a lot of inconsistencies. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. The defense believes that, you know, he could be guilty. I don't know. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence. Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. Defense lawyer calling the accused innocence into question. Are you of sound mind? It was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was a grand decision. What? I must say, I didn't expect quite an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so you have. Just as the right honorable gentleman so succinctly put it forward, this trial can't go on anymore. Your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. Really gonna end it on this, huh? Oh, I don't like it. Oh. This is not good. Hereby pronounce the verdict of this court. We still haven't determined if the bloodstain on this is genuine or not. I don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. I have no idea about the truth. The case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. Indeed, the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with. The prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord. Prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter, I'm afraid. Culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. It's been a pleasure, Lord Von Zeek, so it has. As for you, my dear fellow, couldn't have asked for a better defense. Tell me this has all been a grand waste of time. 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Magnus McGilded. Just one thing, a warning. This is far from over. Well, something to look forward to then. Wario laugh. Wahahaha. That's how I imagine it, at least. This is the worst not guilty verdict I've ever gotten, and it's not close. I don't like it. It just feels bad. It feels very, very bad. Just a heckin' mess. Oh. Ostensibly a victory. It really don't feel like it. Hey, Crystal. What I miss in this case? Forged evidence that the defendant, who was quite definitely guilty, managed to get off scot-free for. But we get to continue practicing in England, so... Ooh. Wonderful performance. Doesn't feel good. Tons of inconsistencies, mostly because, yeah, the courtroom got hit by a smoke grenade by this new witness, and suddenly there were a bunch of things that popped up that either definitely weren't there before, or you couldn't determine if they were there before or not. And this witness conveniently gave exactly the testimony needed to remove enough guilt from our defendant that they declared him not guilty and basically gave a mistrial. So, you know, I mean, we know what happened. Smoke grenade? Yes, smoke grenade. I don't think you sounds like something from this game. Yes. It's like this is an Ace Attorney game. That's something that could easily happen. Sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. I don't like that. Girls with him. That definitely was paid off. Seems the stories are true. On the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict. They do be letting off fireworks. How are you, Crystal? Not sure I really did anything. What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk there free men, then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? Not fine. Is it school-related? Let's say you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. 'Tis water under the bridge. I am also not fine, but in regards to this game. All seen, I didn't do that odious and absent deed. 'Tis grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Now the fine fellows got in yard can take matters in their hands, sort out any wee details. We'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I don't think so. I'm not so sure about that one, Hoss. I do be providing a good number of their wages. So we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. If you wish, you're humble people, are you, from the East? Well, if you insist. But have this, still and all, you deserve a reward. Everything is ready, sir, if you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe. Let's hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There are some changes to the schedule. Well, must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. I'm going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. Asked if I could be present for it myself. Actually, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this now, but as an upstanding member of Lone Society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. I do be doing it. Yes, part of the trouble's not entirely, well, nuts. I hate it when my troubles are more than one part. I don't know how to help other than to say, I think you can get through it. And to lend an ear, because that always helped me in the past. Okay, so we're definitely seeing him again down the line. There he goes, a free man. And you, person that was definitely... don't move! Whereas I want to say, get a move on, it surely does take forever to load that thing. Do you mind putting that thing down, Mr. Stride? Grown up, and I hate all grown-ups. No question, don't know how about advice. I mean, I do my best. Ah, there you are. Okay, that's a bazooka. This is turned into, this is anime now. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white, and more white. If you have to be shredded in smoke, shrouded, not shredded. If you're shredded in smoke, you're just working out. Could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Do you have to be shrouded in smoke, though, at all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment while I was changing onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. Oh. A few of my pals have been jerks lately, don't really feel like sitting them at lunch tomorrow. But my one friend walks from my class with me to lunch. I don't want to ditch her, but don't really want to sit with my friends like she does. Well, quite honestly, I would just tell your friend that. And if she understands and comes with you, that's great. And if she understands and still wants to sit with those friends, then that's fine. But if your pals are jerks lately, are they your pals? At some point, you know, high school is about the time when I figured out who my friends were and who wasn't, I guess. Like, if it's to the point where you don't want to sit with your friends anymore, you don't really want her to tell the other pals, I don't want to bother her either. Ah, but see, if you don't sit with them, you're already telling them that. You know? And in my experience, it's much better to be straightforward than it is to you know, play games and such. If they're being jerks, they deserve to know it. And if they're your actual friends, they'll realize, hey, we are being jerks, let's apologize. And if they're not really your friends, then they won't, and you will have lost nothing because they weren't your friends. But I understand that the politics of high school is more complicated than I let on, for sure. Don't really want them to know. Well, it seems like you're just in a catch-22 then. You're sure if you just sit it out for a few days, everything will be fine? Maybe, but you're putting the onus on yourself to fix friendships. But if they're the ones being jerks, the onus deserves to be on them. I don't know. I always think you shouldn't inconvenience yourself for a friendship. If that makes sense. Or you shouldn't inconvenience yourself to someone who's not, like, putting anything into a relationship of sorts. Don't eat lunch in the bathroom. Good lord. No. That's disgusting. Please eat it anywhere but the bathroom. I'm begging you. And again, politics of high school, it's been a while. And I've kind of... I've learned how little it mattered, I guess, in the long term. Like, if they're your friends and it's a fight, you'll get over it. Everyone will come back together. If they're not, they just, you know, it's not worth inconveniencing yourself like that. Definitely not for the heckin' bathroom. Worst case scenario, you go with your friend and then you're just like, oh, I'm gonna sit somewhere else today or whatever, and just go off from there. She don't need to worry about it. And you don't ditch her at the end. Or until the end, but you're not even ditching her. She's going with friends. But yes, this is blunt older goober advice. So definitely add your own nuance to it. I don't expect that I'm like the end all be all of relationships and friendships and other such advice, but those are my blunt and stupid thoughts. Just 2 or 3, but everyone's thickest thieves don't know what to do. Figure it out. Yeah, don't think about it too hard though. Because in the end, the squabbles, I don't know. Again, if like a squabble like this can break up an entire group or like exclude you from the group, it's not worth it. But yeah, why did we turn down the 1,000 again? Oh, right, because he's definitely a murderous criminal. Right. And so the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead. Just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over.
What's going on?
Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water, quick! What the? How did this happen?
So the evidence is conveniently getting burned up.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating. No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
This can't be.
What's that evidence? Did you kill someone, Baron? Did you kill Mr. McGonagall? Feel like you did. End. Wow, what an end. You need the crass old goober's advice? I'll just be silly little high schooler intelligence. Ah. Not that crass, am I? I kinda am. Life's ground me down. Not just been a squabble, it's been slowly building to me. Maybe not them, trying to be nice. Relationships have been strained to me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, little old me would just tell him. Communication is key in all and any relationships. That goes for like romantic relationships, workplace relationships, or friendships. And I think that rule goes like period for a long period of time. I don't know. But that's also super uncomfortable, so I totally get it. I understand, but oof. Many details, ideas conflict with each other. Keep my other relationship and then kind of shove theirs down my throat isn't fun. Can make new friends like them and force me to be friends with them. It's like being surrounded by lions in your house. Yeah, it doesn't sound healthy. Just for me. Oops. Okay, we saved again. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a group you'd want to be with if that's how you feel. Well, that's just me. We can talk more on Discord, but I do have to end the stream now because I'm done with the case and I have some stuff to do. But yeah, just my feelings on it. It doesn't sound like a great group of buds, honestly. But that's just me. Have a good one, Crystal. Hope it all works out. And yeah, talk anytime, for sure. Always here. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And then sometimes other days also, because that's how I am. That's how we stream. Alright. Toodles.